Here's the unboxing of the Bestop Granite rear bumper. Came in yesterday. Probably should have ordered this at the same time that I ordered the rear rock rails, but lesson learned. When I was cutting the rear rock rails, the bumper for the rear rock rails, you can see that you had to do a little bit of trimming. My wife was like, well, it's only 500 bucks. Go ahead and get it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting it and working on installing. Moving a little slow today. I'm getting over a chest cold or something. But anyway, we'll be including more videos shortly. All right, so these are the things that came with my kit. Zip ties, some type of bolt. That looks like it's made for possibly the sensors. I don't have sensors, so those will just be plugs. Little stoppers and things like that. We'll continue in a moment. All right, so I've unboxed it. The bumper is upside down right now. But here's what's going to mount on the inside. And certain things to point out. If you have the rock rails, like I do, it actually will connect inside. Can't really show it too well right here, but there's 2 points where it mounts on the inside, and those 2 points are located right here, right here, right here. Well, let's see if I can get that a little better, and right there. And so in case you have the rock rails and you're wondering where they're going to mount to, that's where they're going to mount to. Everything else looks like it's going to be pretty simplistic. This area right here where this placement is for a pod, in case you want, in case you're night wheeling and you want more lights, you can put them on here. I'll probably do that later, but not right now. All right, in case you're wondering what it looks like from the rear, that's what it looks like. It's a little higher gloss than what I was expecting, but it's okay. And there's Harvey the Wonder Dog. And it doesn't come with any D-rings or anything else, but I've got a couple of extras, so I'll just put them on there. But it looks pretty good right now. All right, so there's no videos for this yet, at least not that I've seen. So I'm gonna follow along the steps, right? It's talking about under the side of the vehicle, remove the harness anchors and attachment. This is pretty cut and dry. There's plenty of videos on this in regards to doing it for the JT. But there's not a whole lot that have installed the rock rails and then having to uninstall. So I'm gonna try to show you what you're gonna have to uninstall. So during the install process for the JT, you had to cut and trim the plastic OEM bumper, and then you mounted it. They suggested putting in their bolts, but I just reused the factory bolts. And this was what I was referring to earlier in the video, depicting where you're gonna have to unbolt it and where you'll bolt it into the new bumper. For the remaining things, these are the 2 bumpers that they're referring to, or should I say the 2 bolts that are holding the plastic bumper into the frame. And then you have those 2 back bolts, which are right behind the license plate. That's what they're referring to. And then last but not least, they're referring to the 7-pin harness. And then up there, you'll see the other piece that you had to disconnect for the lights and those types of things. But we'll be getting this off shortly. I'm not going to go through this process because it's pretty simple, pretty cut and dry as far as what you're going to have to do, with the exception of if you already installed the rock rails, that you'll have to undo those 2 bolts, and I believe they're 11 millimeter.
For the license plate switch, pull the red tab and then push the black button and then separate.
Once again, you gotta go ahead and remove the 15 millimeter on these two bolts that are here and here that are holding on to the frame of your bed rails. All right, once you have that disconnected, when they talk about the license plate light clip, that's the one they're referring to. So it's on the muffler side, and it's just a little bit up there. So if you're looking where you disconnected the wiring harness for your 9-pin and 7-pin, just follow it up. You'll see it right there attached to the frame. Pull that red pin back and then squeeze it and pull it. That and that down. Basically one on each side. That's what they're referring to depress.
If you have an aftermarket receiver, it can get caught up in the O&M plastic, so be careful. As you can see here, it will require some removal with a Dremel.
All right, finally got the bumper off. It was kind of a pain only because the wiring harness, I could never get it unclipped. So as you can tell, it was a real pain in the butt, and that thing just, I couldn't get, I don't know if it's the cold weather or what, but I could not get that attached for no matter what I did with it. So I just left it attached, and it's probably because of the cold. And I took out the bumper, ran into a little snag, but you'll see the post on how to fix that little snag, because you're probably gonna get rid of your bumper just like I did. And if not, yeah, good luck with it. But for getting the lighting housing off, there's a couple of videos, but they don't really zoom in. So here's the clip that they're referring to as far as lifting that clip and being able to get it off. And then the second clip that they're talking about, I don't know if you can see it, it's right there to the side. So I'm gonna try to get that off and we'll add on to the video. All right, so those pieces that they were talking about, those two little pins on there, that helps for the outer sleeve to slide out. Once that slides out, your LED assembly slips out the back. I screwed up on this side, and now I'm gonna probably buy a new light assembly on this other side, but if it'll help somebody else not make the same mistake, then great. See it? All right, so it turns out that you don't need the actual housing for it. It just slips right in. To take off the inside of this from the wiring of the little light thing from the housing, you just depress that and push it in. It slips right off. And then from this side, you're just going to go ahead and make sure you have it going the right way. And try to slide it in and connect it. And there it is. If you didn't break the little snaps like I did getting the other one out, this one goes in pretty good. Well, this side, it's in, but it's not that secure, so I'll have to figure out something to make it tight. Or I may just order another light bulb. And that's it. All right, my wife and I are back on day 2. As you can see, we have the trailer hitch mounted. We have the light mounted. This is the one that I kind of broke the clip off of, so I just electrical taped it for now. What it doesn't really talk about in the instructions are if you have the bed rails. There's the spot that you would mount the bed rails. And here is the Bestop bed rail. As you can see, it has a bracket that kind of corresponds with it. So I asked Bestop if they included all the hardware for it, and they said that they did. The instructions never talk about this, so it's kind of funny. This is the piece that comes with your bumper. So this is the part that you would bolt on. So this will be, I think, a little bit tricky. It may not be too bad. It's just that when the instructions say, hey, mount up your alignment holes, you're also gonna have to try to mount up the holes here. The good thing is they're flat plates, so when you're coming to install or fit your alignment, after you get done setting them into the holes, you'll just most likely have to just go ahead and slide this in and then align these holes with the two pieces there, and then you'll just slide the bolts in. We'll cover more of this in the later video of this install. All right, so correction. You'll want the bolts facing towards the rear of the vehicle so that it's flat against it. If you do it the other way, it's a real pain in the ass and it doesn't really work and it causes a lot of problems. My wife's brilliant, I'm stupid, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. All right, we'll see you in a bit. All right, it's installed. I need to clean it up a little bit, but it's installed. So, in addition to making sure that the bolts are hand tight when you're mounting this up so that you can secure it with the bed rails, you'll also most likely need to loosen these bolts up to be able to adjust that back end bracket. We ran into a little issue and the holes weren't lining up, and all we had to do was loosen these up to be able to slide it in correctly and tighten them up and torque them up. But as you can tell, zip tied up, it's in place, and it looks pretty good. There's some small little imperfections on the powder coating, but at a $500 price point, I guess it's okay. And plus, it's going to get abused off-road anyway, so not too worried about some of the skirmishes. I wish that they had a little bit better quality checks on it before shipping out, but that's okay. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the product. It wasn't too bad of an install. It would have been probably much easier if I didn't do the aftermarket Kurt receiver, but since it wasn't sold with it, you know, had to do what I had to do. Lessons learned were, you know, if you're thinking about buying this, buy it as a complete set. Don't install the rock rails and then install the bumper later on. It can probably be a little bit easier if you didn't have to do all that. It'll definitely save you a lot of extra work in regards to cutting and trimming the OEM bumper if you're going to take it off anyway. Well, this is it for this video of the installation of the Bestop Granite bumper and mounting it to the rock rails. Have a good one.